Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing something a little different, but still on the theme of mechanical things. So this is an Empire Model 43 electric steam engine. This was produced by the Empire Metalware Company in, I believe, the 1940s or 1950s. So I'll get right into it, get it started and heating up. I've already saved the time filling it with water. You can see the level there up towards the top of the gauge. It's full. Get it going. I'll flip the switch on my power cord and that'll start it heating. So this is electric. There's a heating element underneath the boiler that heats the water up inside of it, and it makes steam that way. My particular cord here is an old Montgomery Ward, and this is just like a standard old appliance cord that old kitchen appliances and stuff used to use. So it's not like anything super specific. The Empire 43 is probably one of the most common Empire model steam engines. They made a lot of them. You see them pretty regularly for sale. There's a lot more rare ones. You can hear it already starting to make a little bit of noise. So what we've got here is the control for steam going to the cylinder. And I have that open right now so that some hot air or steam will, for a little bit, start to come down through the pipe and hopefully provide a little bit of warmth to the cylinder. I don't know how much that's going to do, but generally when you start a steam engine, you want to warm up the cylinders before you start running it. This is the exhaust pipe or smokestack. It does technically function. Built into the bottom of it here is the safety release mechanism. That is definitely an important thing to have on it. The little spring-loaded safety valve there, and that also functions as the water fill. Again, I've already filled this up before coming out here to save that trouble. It's very important to make sure that you have water in this. You do not want to plug it in and heat it up without water, or else it will very quickly ruin your heating element under there. That's not a good thing. We've also got a whistle. Not going to do anything because there's no pressure right now. It's a nice whistle. It's pretty high pitched, but you can't really expect anything else from such a small whistle. And then of course you've got your main engine down here. It's pretty small. As you can see, the cylinder bore in there. And it's a slide valve mechanism. And the eccentric on here actually can pivot on the main crankshaft here. And that pivot allows it to operate the engine in either direction, which is a neat ability of this Empire Model 43. Not all of their engines have that. Some of them don't actually have like a throttle control. You can hear it making some noise. Not sure how much heat is getting to that cylinder. Give it a little bit of oil before I run it. That's always important to have. Oil up the crankshaft, oil the eccentric, crankshaft as well. A little bit on the end of the slide valve, and also a good little bit into the cylinder. Just to make sure it's got some good lubrication. That's always important, especially for one of these little guys. They'll run pretty fast. I think that's some, I feel some heat getting into the cylinder now. I'll close up the valve, let it build pressure. Give it a few spins, let the oil work itself in there a little bit. And I'll come back in just a moment once it's got pressure and it's all ready to go. Alright, we got some good pressure now. A couple of good blows of the whistle. Open up the valve here. Give her a little spin and let her go. It's a little bit leaky in a couple places, but no, it seems to run pretty good. It's not particularly warm, so the steam is kind of extra visible right now. And this thing, it'll really slow down and run at a nice slow speed pretty well. Just like that. It's kind of impressive. I've heard a lot about these things not really running too well at such a slow speed, but this one does pretty well. Sometimes it fluctuates a little. You can see it's a little bit faster now, but it's a pretty good runner, all things considered. And it'll really do some speed too, as you can see. Shut it down for a second, and just to show you that it'll also run counterclockwise. Now it's really slowed down. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do with it is to rev it. But well, I don't know how well you can see it, but my water gauge is now down at the bottom of the glass. So once it gets down to that point, that's where I stop it. It's like I said, you do not want to run this thing out of water. That'll ruin your heater. So I just flip the switch on my power cord, open her up, and let her get the last of the steam out. And it'll slow itself down. A little bit more left in there. And then eventually it'll just come down slowly to a stop. See what I mean about running slow. There it goes. Then I'll just open up the whistle like that. I'll let the rest of the pressure drain out of the boiler and let it cool down. I also like to just unplug my power cord there from it, just for a little bit of extra safety. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Just to show you there, you can see no, you can't see it now. The water was right at the bottom of that when I shut it off. I don't let it get any lower than the bottom of that sight glass. So I purchased this on eBay. There's a fair few of them on eBay now. A couple more 43s, just like this one. They're neat little engines. I've been looking to get one for quite a while. You don't have to get electric ones. You can get ones that burn dry fuel, or there are ones that burn liquid fuel, stuff like kerosene or lantern fluid, stuff like that. I like the electric because it's simple and I can run it inside without any need for live fire anywhere. So I don't remember how much I paid for it. It wasn't too bad. It was probably something around like $70. And this was sold to me as operational. So I did know it was going to be operational. And the very first thing I did after I pulled it out of the box, the day it arrived, I filled it up with water and plugged it in and ran it right there. And it ran good, so can't complain about that. It did have a little bit of a leak at first from the sight glass down at, I think, the lower part, but that kind of just seemed to fix itself. So I haven't messed with it. I'm a little bit fearful if I try to mess with those nuts on the top and bottom of the sight glass, I'm gonna ruin whatever seals are there or break the glass, and don't know where I'll find a replacement. I have done a little bit of work to it. I replaced the gasket on this cylinder head here just because the old one was a little bit rough. And then that spring on the throttle I added. That was necessary. They had one, I believe, from the factory. It did not have one when I got it, and what would happen is as it would run, the vibrations of the engine and the pulsation of the steam would cause that to back out, and it would just increase its speed as it ran. So it doesn't do that anymore, which is good. But yeah, they are pretty fun. I really like it. I kind of want more. I do watch, see if I can get a good deal on one. They're just neat little pieces of history, and incredible to think that this, back when it was new, was considered a children's toy. You would never have one of these being sold as a children's toy today, that's for sure. And so, with that being said, I hope you have enjoyed this video, a little demonstration of how to run one of these little old toy steam engines. If you liked it, or if you like all the other mechanical stuff I do, tractors, engines, any of that stuff, do consider subscribing. Leave a like on the video if you like these little steam engines. I've always got more projects and stuff to make videos about, so there's certainly more to come. If any of those companies out there in China that make those little model engines want to get in contact with me, my email, I'll put that in the description. I always look at those little model engines and I want to buy them, but they're a little bit out of my price range for what I'm doing right now. So if they want me to accept them to review them, I will very gladly do so and make videos on some of them, especially those old hit and miss engines. It's kind of been swamped by a lot of old toys from an auction, but here's my real hit and miss engine project. It's a early 1900s Nelson Brothers Model P that I pulled out of the swamp down the street. So hopefully eventually there'll be a video about this thing. I've already posted one of it spinning over. It does spin over, which is impressive for where it sat, but I'm also happy. I'm still missing a few parts, and I got a lot of work to do still, stuff to drill out, and it's going to be a while, but I'll get there eventually. So yeah, any of those companies want to reach out to me about these little engines, email in the description. I will be very happy to run them and make some videos on them, review them, all that stuff. Just send me an email. And with that, I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching.